talking recovery after a long workout in today's episode. Hey, what is up, everybody? My name is Brian Seppi. I am documenting my learning, my thinking, and right now, my fitness journey for my first marathon and the learning that accompanies that, which is a lot right now. It is a little bit cold today. Today I'm talking recovery and my process and my learning. So I've vegged and binged a whole bunch of videos on recovery after longer runs. So yesterday, for me, was a longer run, half marathon for me, in the week culminating moderate training. I only really had 4 days worth of training this week, so I'm gonna do the best I can to get out there on a recovery run today. My big thinking going into recovery was to spend a large portion of the day really foam rolling, stretching out, getting sort of the muscles loose. I surprisingly feel pretty good. I don't feel horrible after a half marathon. This is actually the longest run I've had since the half marathon I did last spring. So yeah, I'm feeling like the base building of the zone 2 heart rate training and the slower miles is really starting to pay some dividends for me. So that's a good thing. So started that in early December. Here we are at the end of January. So 2 months worth of slower heart rate training in that zone 2, I feel like has allowed me to build up my aerobic capacity to make some of those longer runs, easy runs, if you will, or putting more time into being a little bit more aerobically fit than I have been. Having said that, gonna get out there on a recovery run. My game plan today, as you know, I like to have some flexibility, but my game plan today is to get out there and really concentrate on at least a minute longer than my normal pace. So we'll tack on a minute to that 9:15 pace that I like to be at, or that 9-minute mile pace, and we'll try and get about 3 miles in at that 10-minute per mile pace. So here we go. Okay, just finishing up that recovery run, 5 miles at a very slow pace. I will put the details here. Feel pretty good overall. As I mentioned earlier, I do not have any soreness or anything like that in my body, and I realized that staying home all day and not being active was probably not the right thing to do after a long run yesterday. I was proud of that progress, 13 miles yesterday, but I knew that I had to get in some active recovery in order to, one, capture the volume that I wanted to capture this week, which was around 30 miles. 2, to make sure that I have proper blood flow and that my muscles aren't gonna seize up on me for this week's worth of training. And then I think the last thing is I'm realizing that these recovery runs are crucial to being active, being loose. It puts me in the right frame of mind. I had to spend some time foam rolling today, had to spend some time with active stretching, and worked on my feet a little bit. And I think the recovery run, the mindset of a recovery run, was pretty good for me. As you can see, it was a much slower pace in that 10-ish range, which felt very comfortable, but it got my wheels turning, got my legs turning over, and it also helped with blood flow to the area that I feel needs the recovery the most. As I mentioned, not sore. That's not to say that I won't be tomorrow after that run, but the blood flow was in there, the stretching was in there, so I felt fatigued on the run. My legs felt fatigued, but they didn't feel sore, and they don't feel bad now. I will probably spend the rest of the evening working back to some stretching. I have a writing group tonight where we're working on an article, so I'll have some seat time, if you will, but I'll try to be active before locking it down for the night. So that was my thoughts on recovery runs. They are necessary as these runs get progressively longer, these long runs, and then leading up to marathon training. That's what I'm learning about. And as I mentioned, as a novice runner, my stance on recovery runs is just I'm in a learning stance, right? So I'm learning about this, and we'll see how I feel, and I'll get back to you as that progresses. But thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're finding value here, by all means, leave me a comment or subscribe if you haven't, and I really appreciate it. So thanks for watching.